I really like everything that you said. I had communication class at university obviously, so we also talk about nonverbal and intonations, things like that. But these are the skills that we can acquire and can improve, obviously. But so I have this question. So I have Russian culture in me, because I was grown up in a specific environment, and sometimes I find it really hard to be emotional. So basically, I do understand. So I think I developed some skills of emotional intelligence, but it is very hard to show it. And so I wanted to ask, what would you think would be a solution for this kind of people that are grown up with this, and it's very hard to make sure that people understand that you're also emotional.
Okay. No, thank you so much for that, right? That's why I said this to you. I said this to all of us here, that we do not see the world as it is, but as we are. You are a product of that experience. But I can help you with that, and I'll show you how it can be done, right? Okay. But you need someone. There are two ways of doing it. There are two ways of doing it. And, okay, maybe I should articulate one experience that I had with someone who went through a similar thing, and how today they are so expressive and whatnot. It's a story I share everywhere, So this is a story. Someone phoned me up, right, in South Africa, and he said to me, my wife and I have a problem. So I asked him, what is the problem? He says, well, my wife has never expressed her love for me. We are married for 13 years. But I can deal with that. But we have a child, 1 year, 1.5 year old child. He's not experiencing the mother's love. So I asked him, what do you want to do? He says, well, I want to stay in the marriage. So what about your wife? He says, I must speak to her. So I spoke to her. She said, I want to stay in the marriage, except my father said to me, if I don't come back home now, I must never come back. It seems this was an ongoing problem. So I said, no, you stay with your husband. The love doctor will be there. You know who's a love doctor? Me, of course. You didn't know. I'm shocked. After all this while, you can't make out. Right. So anyway, I went there. The husband fetches me. Although it's not although there are lessons to be learned for you, right? Although it is different, you understand what I'm getting at, right? So I went. So he fetches me. So I said to him, you know what? Because in Islam there is no coincidence in Islam. There is no coincidence. There is no coincidence. When you meet, who you sit next to, there is no coincidence. There's a book called The Luck Factor. Luck favors those people that are prepared to talk to strangers they find themselves next to in the train or in the plane. You're prepared to have that conversation. Allah put you there for a reason. You understand? So you've got to live consciously and with intentionality. Right? So anyway, so he told me, when my wife was about 1.5 years old, when she was a kid, right? Her mother left them. So she grew up without a mother. Okay, fine. So I went to the home. I met the husband and the wife dealing with the issues. Now to deal with this critical issue. Right? So I asked her to sit on a chair, and her husband to sit opposite her, and asked her husband to hold her hand. This tactile thing is good, to hold the hand, right? The husband is not a person responsible for the unhappiness. It's the way she has been brought up. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I said to her, I want you to call your husband Ma. Imagine it is your mother. What you like to tell her, but you not tell her out of respect. Right? And it's the first time I ever tried this. This was about 13, 15 years ago, right? So she started saying this. She says, Ma, why did you leave me when I was a child, Ma? Why did you leave me when I was a child, Ma? Allah gave me such a wonderful child, Ma. Such a loving child, Ma. I do not know how to show the love, Ma. You and Daddy never hugged me and loved me, Ma. Why, Ma? Why, Ma? She was crying. And the husband was crying. Me too, I was crying also. Thanking Allah. Because my tears are more of relief, I was relieved. He's working, I thank Allah. Allah, I love you, I love you, I love you. I was so relieved, right? And then she said, Allah, Allah has given me such a wonderful husband. He's so caring, he's so loving, he's so compassionate, but I do not know how to respond to him, Ma. I never saw you and Daddy responding that way, Ma. Why, Ma? Why, Ma? He went on for a little while, then they both got up and they hugged each other. I asked her, how do you feel? He says, I have closure. I asked him, how do you feel? He says, now I understand my wife. That was the beginning when all the emotions. She was suffering from a condition called post-traumatic stress, which many of us suffer from. We don't deal with it. It is those experiences that filters the way we look at the world. Why is it there are some people that are pessimistic? Some people like the dark. Some people, they say, we can find a solution. You and I can do it. Right? Other persons say they can find a problem for the solution. You understand? Right? You understand what I'm saying to you? This is what part of life is. Right? And Alhamdulillah, I met them again recently. Look at how Allah works. Right? I was sharing this experience at a marriage conference. Right? There were about 3,000-4,000 people sitting there. And Allah made me just turn my head. I noticed her brother there. So what I did, I tweaked the story so you mustn't think it's about their family. Right? I did that and immediately she sent me a message. She said to me, I didn't know she was in the audience. He says, Allah bless you for doing what you did for us. May my story inspire others. You understand? Because you must understand, as human beings, when you, how many of you have gone in the tubes in London? No one smiles at you. If you look at them, right? So anyway, now we are social beings. We are gregarious beings. I remember once I walked in the tube. I said to everyone, "Good morning, everybody." They nearly die of shock. A few stops later, I was leaving. I said, "Have a good day." I said, "No, have a good life." Right? And one brother, they said, one dude, he said, "Hey, brother, I like what you did. I like what you did." You know what I'm saying to you. Right? So the idea, and also the other thing that is also critical, we didn't have time to speak about it, the whole issue of the cell phone and social media. It's a dangerous thing. Right? Okay, now, so the critical thing in life is this, is live consciously with intentionality and with purpose. You never know. This day could be your last day on this earth. Right? So what I'll recommend, sister, to you, right? Is your husband here? Okay, right. But what I would recommend, if you got someone that is strong emotionally, you could do it on an empty chair. You address the chair as the culture. Don't blame your parents. Understand? It's a culture, right? Because the Islamic culture is about expressing. Is about expression, is about articulation. That's what it's all about. Remember that. It's critical. To tell people, I care for you. You understand? And that's important. Our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was like that. Right? And inshallah, you can maybe communicate with the organizers and you can WhatsApp me and I'll tell you what to do, inshallah. Was it helpful, the story? Was the story helpful to you? Yeah, okay, right.